welcome to Watchin It episode 218. On today's show, ancient horrors and hostile takeovers from Robert. Donnell thinks, can ninjas go to Paris? And on the boys, that's going to be one hell of a messy bathroom to clean up. All that and more. I'm your host, Donnell, and with me as always is Robert. Robert, how you doing today, man?
So much stuff to clean up in the boys.
It's so much stuff, so much stuff.
I'm doing fantastic except for the heat. The heat is killing me.
Yeah, I mean...
We are suffering for this show. We have turned off the fan.
But I will say, today is not as bad as...
Yesterday was not as bad. The day before, horrid.
Yeah, the 2 days before, or like before that. Yeah, I was hanging out with someone at the time, and in the heat, and I was like, this is miserable. And I just kept thinking, I literally in the back of my head, I was like, we got to record the podcast on Friday. And I was like, we are going to die. But luckily,
if Thursday had been like Wednesday, I was going to call you and be like, how's the heat at your place?
Yeah.
Because I don't know if we can do it at mine.
I got the
with
blackout
my big
curtains downstairs now. And then like my downstairs, like my upstairs, the sun comes through all my windows. But my downstairs, all the windows are facing away from the sun. So it's not, I've been sleeping downstairs, actually. I got my couch. They have a little pull-out thing. I've been sleeping downstairs on the couch this whole week. And, if we needed to, we could have recorded at my place. It wouldn't have been too bad. But it's not too, I mean, it's muggy. It's not comfortable, but it's not bad. We're not going to die for the podcast this week. Anyways, Robert. Ancient horrors and hostile takeovers?
So I got a big list.
You do have a big list.
And I was originally just like grouping them together, in some form or fashion. Now I'm just like, Donnell just picked two.
Yeah.
I did that last week. I'm doing it this week. Donnell has picked a couple of bangers.
All right, nice. I'm just getting lucky, man. I'm going
to start out with corporate mergers.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about the Dungeon of Black Company.
All right.
This is about a guy he's a NEET. Not uncommon in the anime world, to say especially isekai kind of world. But he has gotten rich.
Okay.
Mega rich. He has a apartment that's the whole floor of a skyscraper that he owns. Nice. The skyscraper. Nice. He is rich. He is just like, I don't have to go outside. I don't have to do anything. I can just be rich. Portal opens up. Sucks him to another world. He's no, damn it.
no truck, huh? No truck.
No truck this time. He lands on a world with monsters and magic and swords and all that stuff. And there's a dungeon. Very common in anime. There's a dungeon, labyrinth or whatever, explore, getting treasures. That's kind of been done.
Okay.
And now modern capitalism interests have taken over. And a company owns the dungeon and sends in workers to mine the crystals and kill the monsters and bring them out. It's basically slave wage labor.
Right.
Just penance for the day. You're basically indebted to the company store.
Yeah.
Kind of world.
Yeah.
So he ends up just getting a job as a miner. Whatever. He finds like a secret entrance to like a lower level of the dungeon, and he corrupts like some other workers to kind of come into the dungeon. He takes out a bunch of loans he can't pay and whatnot, and is like, okay, we're gonna sneak into the lower levels through the secret entrance nobody knows about. We're gonna get some high level stuff and whatever. Everybody, all the bosses are really excited, like, we're increasing profits like crazy because you're getting to the good ore and all this stuff. Makes friends with a dragon that lives, like the dragon's about to kill him, and he's like, hold up, how about I bring you a bunch of really good food and you like protect us while we harvest all this ore and whatnot. And he starts his own company called the Black Company.
Okay.
And gets into, I mean, he goes to like, it is all the tropes of like Japanese corporate culture. He goes to like the corporate, the oh man, what's it called? The executive training camps and stuff like that, where they have to do all the exercises and whatnot. It's just hilarious because it's all about, you're like, oh, we're gonna get into a fantasy world, isekai and whatnot. It's like, nope, this is gonna be all about like corporate capitalist world and backstabbing mergers and all this stuff. And it's super fun.
Nice.
Excellent. Just a great fun anime that's different.
Okay.
It puts a little twist on what you usually expect.
Yeah. Nice.
The second one you have picked is probably in my top must watch.
Okay. All right.
I would say Black Company is definitely high up in the isekai world. This is like maybe, I can't even say top 10 because what is top 10 anymore? Yeah. But anyway, whatever that list I have of like, this is an anime that everyone needs to see. is called The Ancient Magus Bride.
Okay. All right.
It starts out with a girl, human girl. I don't know how old she is, maybe like 14 or so. And she is being sold at an auction.
Okay. All right.
She's human, but maybe there's something special about her. Everyone's very excited. This is like a black market auctions. Everyone's wearing masks.
Yeah.
Right? This is not like just normal everyday stuff. And all of a sudden, a shadowy figure in a hood walks in. Everybody's like freaking out and kind of murmuring, like, "Oh my God, he's here" and whatnot. It's towering. He's like 8 feet tall, whatever, and bids like an obscene amount of money for her and wins.
Okay. All right.
It turns out that this shadowy figure is kind of like a real deal eldritch horror who's a mage.
Right.
And mages are very uncommon and rare.
Yeah.
And usually immortal in this world. Kind of very, very strange looking. Here, look at like the second image there. He's kind of got like a skull face.
Yeah.
And things like that. That's just kind of like his human form.
Okay.
But he's got like other forms that he takes. We don't know how old he is. Maybe 10,000 years old, maybe 1,000,000 years old, maybe since the beginning of time.
Okay.
But just kind of lives as a mage and go and fixes problems. Like the Pope is around, so it's kind of like Elizabethan. No, I wouldn't say that. Not Elizabethan, but I don't know what year. Maybe like the 1940s or 50s England kind of time period.
Yeah.
But anyway, he buys this girl, and he's like, "Okay, you're gonna be my bride," which sounds kind of messed up.
Yeah.
But you find out later. I'll kind of spoil this part. Is that like he's kind of a child in a certain way, like as far as interacting with people and understanding like the human world.
Yeah.
So he really thinks the bride just means like friend, like close family.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. She takes it very seriously, and she's like, "Oh, what the heck? What's going on? This is unacceptable." And he's like, "Okay, well, you're going to be my bride, and I'm going to teach you how to be a mage."
Okay.
Kind of thing. Extremely beautiful. Think like Howl's Moving Castle, Princess Mononoke, like that level of animation and kind of thick feel to it.
Yeah.
As far as like dialogue and story and whatnot. But better in a way because it's a series.
Yeah.
And not a movie. You really get to sink your teeth into it and wrap yourself into it instead of it being like, an hour and a half, 2 hours of a movie.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, this is a world that I can really just swim in.
Yeah.
And, it has that art style and that, just that dialogue and that feel and really amazing. It's 2 seasons so far. There's a lot more manga, obviously.
Yeah.
I really hope we get more seasons. First season, get to the end, ends very satisfyingly.
Okay.
You could stop there.
Yeah.
And be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Second season, if you want. Second season kind of takes a step back in a weird kind of Harry Potter way.
Yeah.
Where the girl goes to like a magic school.
Okay.
And yeah, it kind of feels like you're downgrading from the first season, but it definitely expands a lot on the story. It doesn't spend enough time, in my opinion, with the 2 main characters. So if I were you, I would just watch the first season and just enjoy it for what it is in all its beauty and splendor.
Yeah.
And sadness. Because I mean, it's very much like Princess Mononoke or or Howl's Moving Castle or Spirited Away or anything like that. It's got a sadness to it. But if you want to know more, go and watch season 2.
Yeah.
Just realizing that it's going to be a slight downgrade. Not in necessarily beauty or interesting characters and story and things like that. It's just you just like, oh man, I want to focus on this other thing.
Yeah.
And whatnot. And then, you can go read the mangas if you want and whatnot. But yeah, absolutely beautiful. A must watch in my book.
Yeah.
The Ancient Magus Bride.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Nice.
Black Company is also a pretty good one, though, that everyone should check out. If you're into anime, you're going to like that one. But I don't know if it's like a must watch. It's just like, if you're looking for something.
Good time.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Donnell.
Mm-hmm.
Ninjas. Tell me about it.
Well, talked about this last week or the week before. I now have the Peacock streaming service.
Okay.
And so, I've just been poking around on that. And they're going to have the Olympics on Peacock because I think that CBS is Peacock. I think maybe I can't remember whatever the actual network is behind Peacock.
Summer Olympics, right?
Yeah, the Summer Olympics.
Aren't we kind of like in summer? Shouldn't they have already
They're
started by now?
They're starting next week or the week after. Fair
enough.
Yeah.
Who's doing it this year?
Paris.
Yeah,
so they're going to have the Olympics on there. Yeah.
Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going to fit the Olympics in Paris? That's a built city.
Yeah.
When they did London, I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But then, like, what are they doing in Paris?
They're doing Paris. It's happening.
That's going to mess up traffic.
I mean,
why are there not riots?
Sidestep real quick to a different topic.
Who talks about France anymore?
Both the Olympics and the World Cup.
I guess they just had a big election.
All the time is like, every country wants them. The Olympics and World Cup. I don't
think that's the case anymore.
Well, that's what I'm about to say. Is like all I ever hear when either one of them shows up is like, oh no, like the city gets literally like you said, gridlock traffic. You can't do anything. Everything's terrible and held up. And then after they all leave, it's like, and then there's just a whole bunch of just everything left over. Where I'm just like, I don't know. These two coming together. I mean, it's these two coming together. Like the world's coming together to enjoy some sport. Both of them, I was like, it seems to leave things in a shitty circumstance afterwards. Like, I'm just like,
yeah, they always try and turn like they always have like plans to turn the Olympic Village into like housing and stuff like that. I don't think it usually works out. I'm very much like anti. I mean, I like Summer Olympics. The Winter Olympics are just stupid, in my opinion. I just got to be honest with you. I see no There's not a single sport in the Winter Olympics that I'm like.
What about that one where you get to put on you have the skis and you ski a little bit and you shoot for some reason?
That's the worst.
I know.
That's the worst one.
That's the one where I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
There's none of them are good. None of the winter ones are
curling?
Good.
Come on, everyone likes sweeping the ice, man.
It's like, the long jump with the skis. It's like, what is that? What even is that? I mean, it's cool. Anyway, whatever. Summer Olympics, I've got a lot of problems with, but it's not quite as bad.
Yeah.
I'm definitely behind the concept that like they should just pick a place and just that's where we have the Athens or something or Rome or whatever wherever we held the first one.
Just make a place where that's where it's done.
That's where it's done. And I'm really shocked because usually it's like what country wants to like put themselves on the map or change the way they look. Like when they did the China one, I don't know, like 10 years ago, 20 years ago. That was like. Okay, that makes sense because China's like we're the new China.
Yeah,
we're out there. We're not just like
all out.
They went from third world country to first world country that year or that decade, and we're like, hey, we're doing the Olympics.
China has arrived.
Yeah, I'm saying that I'm really shocked that it wasn't like Saudi Arabia because Saudi Arabia is kind of like dumping money into like
I just wonder,
we're Saudi Arabia, invest in us.
The only thing I wonder about is because there's this huge thing about the next World Cup, I think it is in Qatar.
Didn't know the last one was in Qatar.
Or maybe the last one was in Qatar.
And it was too hot.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I kind of feel like Saudi Arabia like
slave labor to build all the places.
Yes, yeah, no. Dude,
I'm not saying that wouldn't happen in Saudi Arabia.
But that's what I'm saying.
I'm just problem. I'm just saying I'm surprised that Saudi Arabia didn't buy out the Olympic Committee to be like put it here because we were Saudi Arabia and we're the new Saudi Arabia, you know, because they bought out like WWE and all the golfing tournaments or whatever, like the PGA Tour or something, and then they just bought out
and
like
freaking also
like, all the StarCraft teams or something.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. They just had in esports because like there's big esports events with like Dota and with League of Legends, Fortnite, Call of Duty, but they all do their own stuff. Like there's own tournament, but they just had the first ever this year, and it was in Saudi Arabia. And like you said, it's because they spent all this money. They had the first ever what they called the Esports World Cup, which was like basically like Olympics for esports.
Yeah,
so like there was a bunch of Call of Duty teams there, there was a bunch of League of Legends teams there was a bunch of Fallout, and like they're not competing against each other, but like it was like you go just like at the Olympics, you go see a soccer match, then you can watch the long jump, and then you can watch track and field. Like it was that sort of thing. And I was like, where did this come from? And then I was like, why is it in Saudi Arabia? And I was like, oh wait, because they paid a whole bunch of money.
Because they're investing in everything they can to make any sort of money they can because they're running out of oil.
Yep.
Anyway, Paris. That's
Yeah.
so weird.
So
anyway,
anyways,
ninjas. What's ninjas
Yeah.
got to do with it?
So on Peacock, like I said, they're
I want that movie. What's the
advertising.
ninjas got to do with it?
They're advertising the Olympics, and then another thing they have on Peacock that I've been throwing on in the background just because it's interesting to see how people do is American Ninja Warrior.
Okay.
And so I've been
Yes, I
watching
know
some
where you're going with
American
this
Ninja
already.
Warrior, and the more I watch American Ninja Warrior, so I've been having two thoughts a lot while watching it. Is one is all these people on this show. I'm like all of them.
Some
usually-
of them are Olympians.
Yeah, some of them are Olympians. Some of them, actually, like one of them in this season is Olympian. But like that thing is, they all have like day jobs though, where they're just like,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I'm a police firefighter, and then I built my own Ninja Warrior.
I would
thing in my
imagine a lot of
backyard,
Olympians
did a
are
lot
like
of
that,
stuff.
but yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. So anyway, so one of them thinking like, what's the? I mean, I guess it's just to prove it to yourself. Like, I guess it doesn't always have to be a big goal of why you're doing something, pushing yourself so hard, and then to prove yourself. Because I'm just like, there's no ninja, like there's a Ninja Warrior community because they all talk about it, but overall, like there's no like there's other than American Ninja Warrior, there's nowhere above to go. Like you can't.
Yeah.
I made it to the major leagues.
No, that
So,
is the major
Yeah.
leagues.
So I'm all just like, what's the bigger goal? Like, so maybe it's just to prove that you can do it, which is perfectly fine. So that's one thing. But the other thing I've been thinking about, because I keep seeing the Olympic ads, and then I'm watching American Ninja Warrior, and I'm not saying, like you said, a lot of there's Olympians in American Ninja Warrior, and there's also just a lot of just Joe Schmoes who have pushed their bodies to pinnacle to be able to do some crazy stuff in American Warrior. And I'm just like, could some of these people? I'm just watching them like,
Yeah.
I feel like some of these people, like when it comes to like the Olympic teams, I know there's tryouts, but there's also like even though we don't watch track and field year round, there's professional track and field people.
Yeah.
And those are the ones who are also going to Olympics. And sometimes like, is there like for football? It basically never happens, but technically for football, there is a walk on trial where you can be just Joe Smo and you can show up. And if you're in good enough shape and you show that you can play football at a professional level, you can make it on a team. And I'm just
like
wondering,
the Olympics or like a regular team?
no, I'm talking about football, like professional football.
Yeah, there's actually a good movie
And I'm just wondering
with
about-
Mark
yeah,
Wahlberg
yeah, exactly.
about that, where like just a
Yeah,
random
Invincible,
dude. Like, yeah.
It's a rare, like it basically never. It's only probably happened once or twice, but like if you get yourself in a good enough shape, you can walk on and try out, and you might make a football team. And I'm just sitting there like, is there that for the Olympics? Because I feel like some of these people in American Ninja Warrior need to walk on and be like, hey, I would like to try the vault, or I would like to try the long jump.
No, it's called the decathlon. That's the American Ninja Warrior of the Olympics.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say they should put American Ninja Warrior in the
I
Olympics.
would like that too. That would be awesome because it'd be, it'd be awesome just because, like, I mean, that's the thing about a lot of the Olympic events, and I mean, that's the whole thing of that saying jack of all trades, or it's like jack of all trades, master of none, is definitely American Ninja Warrior people are more jack of all trades. They got their running, they got their climbing, their grappling, they got their jumping, and they're doing all that. And I imagine that someone who's just dedicated to just that, like if you're just dedicated to long jump, you're probably going to jump farther than any American Ninja Warrior person can. But I still like, that's why I was like, but it would be kind of cool to have American Ninja Warrior event in the Olympics just to see.
I don't know. They don't really add a whole lot of new stuff anymore.
No.
I mean, I'm still upset when they added snowboarding. They didn't add skateboarding to.
Yeah.
There was one year, maybe 25 years ago ish, where they had the Olympics, and they like at the ending ceremony, they had a big like rollerblade, skateboard, and BMX show.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I thought they were signaling like the next, that was super exciting back in like, 2000 or whatever, or like 98. They're like, oh my God, in the next Olympics, are they going to add roller? Because they had the X Games going on, right? Is the X Games even a thing anymore? I don't even know. Yeah, I was like, oh man, the next time around, they're going to have like skateboarding and BMX and rollerblading and stuff, and it's going to pop off because, like, I mean, if you're going to add snowboarding to it, do the snowboarding half pipe, with like some Tony Hawk shit in there. Why not do some Summer Olympics stuff?
They did it. So yeah, the 2020 Summer Olympics, they added skateboarding.
Really?
And
I didn't. They had Olympics in 2020.
Yeah, they did. That's probably why no one noticed it though. But it's been approved for the 2024, so they're keeping it. But yeah, no, I get. Yeah.
All right, I want to bash on the Olympics for a couple more minutes here.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Team sports,
Yeah.
BS. More than 2 people, get it out of there.
Yeah.
Football,
can agree with
baseball.
Football's not in there. Baseball, I can't remember.
I thought there
if
was
it
a
is.
football team. There's a basketball.
There's basketball, I think. I can't
Volleyball.
remember baseball, but yeah, volleyball.
I'm like,
There's
this is
soccer.
like send your best single human.
Yeah.
the only reason I say 2 is because for some reason I really like synchronized diving. I don't know why. I don't know why. Something fun about synchronized diving for old Robert.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, those 2 Chinese girls that win every year for the last 30 years or something. I don't know what immortality drugs they're pumping in these girls, but they keep winning. And they've been doing it for the entire time that humanity's existed. But yeah, no, it should be like single person winning the gold medal, not a team sport.
See, I agree for the most part, except like, and maybe just
I'll
because
give you relay. I'll give you relay.
So yeah, relay. Definitely can't take relay. I mean, that's a big thing.
Okay, more than 5 people.
Okay, because I was about to say I want, even though it's a winter, one, I want bobsledding. I'm sorry, I got to have
bobsledding's fine. Yeah, okay, I'll take bobsledding.
So 5 or less. And that's 5.
Okay.
5 or less. And that does not mean basketball can stay, because usually it's more than 5.
Because that's a team.
That's 5 people
that's a team.
playing.
You got 12 or 20 people. That's a company. That's a party. Okay.
No, I always my thing is, like I said. So there's soccer at the Olympics, and then there's a World Cup, and I'm always just like. Same with also basketball. Well, no. So one is with basketball. It's funny. It's like I always like, and lately, and that's one thing that people have been disappointed. But like basketball, for the longest time, it was like the free square and bingo for America. It was like, we're gonna win. For the longest time, it was.
I don't know what comedian it was. It's like. It's like, you better get a Harlem in China if you want to win.
But yeah, for the longest time.
Was that exclusively Japanese bitches?
Yeah, I was going to say that. For the longest time, it was that. But I always just wonder when it comes to these events, like how, like with football, which isn't an Olympics, but with football, there's the All-Star game. And that game's not taken seriously because it's just where all the football players from one conference play against the other conference, yada, blah, 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 and stuff. And that's usually a lot of goofing off. And I just always wonder with, like, how people view because it always seems like they don't value, like, compared to the NBA finals, at least for American players, I feel like the dream team goes to the Olympics like, we're just here to have some fun. And I also like the soccer teams that are playing, it definitely seems like they're not playing at the same caliber as when they're at the World Cup. It's like, so do they just see this as like, no, we just have a little fun. Before,
well, I mean, they don't want to hurt themselves,
the real event's over there. Like you said, we don't want to get hurt, so we just.
By the way, I stole that joke from Daniel Tosh. Great stand-up.
We're
seeing his stand-up is fantastic.
His podcast is pretty good.
I'll wrap this up with saying, yes, ninjas can go to Paris, but they will need counseling.
What?
Because apparently Japanese culture idolizes Paris.
Okay.
But when they get there, it's so disappointing to their idolization of Paris that they need counseling. And there is actually an organization set up to counsel Japanese people visiting Paris because they get so depressed that it is not what they've idolized in their mind.
Yeah.
Much like if I went to Japan expecting to be loved as a white man and finding that they're xenophobic and don't let me go to all the places because they're like, oh, Japanese only.
Yeah.
I would need counseling. But anyway, yes. The ninjas, they can go.
Okay.
But they will need assistance.
All right. Got a quick news story.
I got a little bit of news.
You got a little bit of news.
I'm going to throw in the news about the thing we talked about before. Because people need to know.
Yes.
I'll throw it out there right now. September 12th, Old Man Season 2.
Yes.
Very excited.
Yes.
I just recently rewatched Season 1.
I need to
so
do that.
good.
I need to do that.
Jeff Bridges, amazing.
Kills it.
John Lithgow, amazing. Everybody amazing.
John Lithgow in a serious role, which, I mean, he's done others, but still, it's just, he's seen him in a serious role, playing him up very well.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I didn't know he'd get a Season 2.
Yeah, I was on the fence. I knew we were getting Season 2 before.
Because that was like years ago that it came out.
But I didn't know when. And I also, for a while, I was like, we're not getting it. I was like, it was good, but I don't think enough people watched it. We're not getting it.
Yeah, if you haven't seen The Old Man with Jeff Bridges and John Lithgow and other people, go and check it out. Season 2 is coming September 12th. Super excited.
All right. This is totally a show we've never talked about on here, or if we have, it's probably in a negative thing. But I just think it's just very interesting because it's just so bizarre. So The Simpsons, Robert.
Okay. Surely we've mentioned The Simpsons.
Yeah,
I mean, we at least quote the children are wrong all the time.
But yeah, so back in 1996, they had a episode.
Those were good Simpson years, I think.
This is from the good Simpson years.
Okay.
They had an episode called Homerpalooza, where Homer goes to basically Lollapalooza, because he wants to prove he's still cool. And while he's there, he gets to hang out with Cypress Hill.
Okay.
And in the episode,
I love Cypress Hill.
So you're gonna like this news. And in the episode, they make a backhanded, offhanded joke where Cypress Hill accidentally books the London Symphony Orchestra to play for backup for them.
If Cypress Hill has not played with the London Symphony Orchestra to date,
They are. They have.
I don't know what the word.
So
I don't know the word.
for years, fans have been being like, "Man, you guys, like, you're big enough."
I find that
And
inexplicable. I've really lost the word, Donnell. I'm super upset. I really lost the word. I cannot imagine that I'll just say it without saying the word because I don't know what the word is.
Mhm.
I cannot imagine a world in which Cypress Hill has not to date played with the London Symphony Orchestra.
Well, we're in that world,
but they're going to now.
They're going to now. They have booked and announced. It's one of the things like
I bet the
I
London
would
Symphony
love to
Orchestra
be there.
players are
Yeah.
first violin is ecstatic.
Yeah. So it's a one night only performance in London, and they're performing their whole Black Sunday album, which includes "Insane in the Membrane" and "I Want to Get High."
Not my favorite song.
yeah.
Insane in the Membrane.
No.
Crowd pleaser.
Mm-hmm,
No.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, yeah.
Hits from the Bong, probably my favorite.
But so Cypress Hill is finally playing with, and it's 28 years later. It's just a joke, offhanded joke that Simpsons made has put this in motion, where now we finally have.
I bet they weren't even thinking
Cypress
about
Hill.
that. The Simpsons had nothing to do with it.
No, they brought it up. Like, at least
really?
in the interview, they're just like,
we're at the end of our careers. Let's go.
They're like,
up 30 years ago.
So it's their 30th
40 years
anniversary
ago.
of their album. They wanted to do something special, and they were literally saying like, yeah, people were tossing out ideas, and then they were like, somebody was like, what if we just got the London Symphony Orchestra and we played it with them? And they rolled with it. They got in touch with them, and they're like, we'd like to do this, and they were like, we'd love to have you. So
they're probably like, some money for us to keep us going.
Oh crap! Actually, no. This happened 2 days ago. I just realized because it happened on July 10th. So we no longer live in the world where Cypress
Oh, it's
Hill-
already happened.
Yeah, it happened July. I just
Where can I
realized that.
download this?
I have no. Yeah, they got it. I hope that it shows up on YouTube.
Is this available
or
online?
somewhere? Because
It's got to be.
yeah,
In this modern day?
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love that. There's that, and in this article they point out some of them just blows my mind. That joke of Simpsons did it, where the Simpsons, South Park, where the Simpsons have done everything already and predicted so much. But they put 3 in here real quick, or 2 in here real quick, that I just think are very interesting.
Available on YouTube.
Yes, we gotta check that out.
Absolutely.
But anyway, so real quick, just 2 Simpsons predictions. One is, as everyone already knows, in March 2000, Bart is showing the views into the future, where Lisa is the U.S. president and says that they've inherited quite a budget crunch from the previous president, Trump. And I'm just like, yep.
Look, that's
then,
not out of the question right now because there is discussions that Biden will step down and Pelosi coming up. Yeah. Or Harris.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking seriously about Harris. That's the funniest thing. Look,
That's
watching
the part.
it. This is watching it,
Yeah.
okay? We could talk about watching the news
Okay.
and the current media and stuff. That's the most hilarious. We don't like to get into politics too much here, but I gotta say the most hilarious thing about this whole drop Biden replacement thing. Nobody talking about Harris.
Yeah, I know. It's just
Everyone
it's
just
like,
forgetting she exists. What is the first? What is the vice president been doing for the last 4 years?
Exactly. That's why
no
no
clue.
one's talking about it.
They had Biden out there with the shades and everything. They were giving him medals and stuff when he was Obama's VP.
Yeah.
Harris,
Didn't even
She
know.
split the Senate
Wha-
vote a couple
while-
of times. No one heard from her
Well,
since.
I think not a fan of. I remember Mike Pence more than I remember Harris, and so I'm just like,
For real.
I'm just like, I don't know what you've done. The last
I remember
4 years.
Melania more than I remember her. I know more about Dr. Jill First
Biden.
Lady Biden or whatever
Yeah.
than I know. I know more about Hunter Biden for sure than I know about Kamala Harris.
It's crazy. It is crazy.
They just didn't have her out there.
no,
Because
not
they,
at all.
oh, you know why?
Why?
Because they knew.
Mm.
That's my conspiracy theory.
They knew
It's
what?
like, we got to keep her
Mm.
down because eventually someone's going to notice we have a deranged
Yeah.
person in the seat. And then they're going to be like, oh, Harris has been looking pretty good in the news lately. They're like,
Yeah.
well, let's just keep her out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, what a weird world.
And then the other thing we were talking about Olympics. The other thing that Simpsons predicted was in 2010 they had a storyline where Homer and Marge end up on the U.S. Curling team, and win the U.S.'s first curling ever by beating Sweden in the finale. Well, in 2018 in South Korea, the U.S. won its first curling championship in the Olympics, beating Sweden. And I'm just like, Simpsons is. Like I said, Simpsons is some weird.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it anymore. But I will always say how many things they have predicted just by whims. It's like, what the
Look,
fuck's
they did
going on
weekly
there?
episodes for 30 years and counting.
Yeah.
Like, of course they're going to hit
They're
the
just hitting so
the
much.
clock's going to be right, you
Yeah.
know, twice a day kind
Yeah.
of thing. I did like Northern Lion talking about like it was Canada beating the US in football or something.
Mhm.
And he was just like, I feel like we just need to be like, sorry. like, we don't know how, we're not going very far, but we beat you, so sorry.
Sorry about that.
It's like, you know, sometimes it's that fluke win where like the underdog beats the presumptive winner, and then it's just like, I'm not going any further, so sorry I knocked you out somehow.
Sorry, kicked you out so you couldn't do more.
All right, we're gonna take a break there. When we come back, we'll talk about The Boys.
Mhm.
All right, let's talk about The Boys, season 4, episode 7, The Insider.
The Insider. Yes.
Starts out with how do we want to do this? How do we want to break this up storyline
I mean,
wise?
I think I was thinking about it. It sounds weird. I was thinking about it on the way over here. I was like, I think we bang out MM's stuff real quick. Just get him out of the way, and then I mean we can talk about Frenchie and Kimiko. Their parts pretty quick and
fair enough.
And then maybe we start hitting the more serious stuff. So yeah, basically Mother's Milk in this one. Butcher returns to the boys.
Yep.
After his stint away with him and Joe, when we find out Joe is not real. But anyways, returns to the boys and basically just, spills the beans about, well, not about
Samir.
Joe, but about Samir and everything. And he's basically doing exactly what Joe doesn't want. Joe wants to just go the whole genocide route, and Butcher's reining it in. He's using the boys as his safety net, like keep me from going too far here.
Yeah, definitely an interesting back and forth between Butcher and Joe throughout this episode.
Yes.
Of Joe just being like, yes, you're going to be put back in charge. That's great for us and all this. And then they get into the fight later, and Butcher's calling for him, and Joe's like, SOL.
You don't want to go my way. But yeah, so anyways, they devise a plan, and then decides he's handing the reins back over to Butcher. And his reasoning...
Not a great idea.
Butcher
is dying.
Yeah. I'm about to say, his reasoning is because he passed out in a mission. I'm like, well, Butcher's going to die in a mission.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, while I have been saying that the boys under have not been anywhere near as successful or as good as they were under Butcher, it's like a little too late to be switching back management to Butcher. That's like when he's like, yeah, I passed out. I was like, okay, yeah, sure, but Butcher's gonna die. Like, he's gonna die in the middle of a mission.
I do like the line when he's like, when I look in the mirror, I don't even recognize myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, they know. I thought there was a missed opportunity to be like, this job is taking it out of me. I've lost 100 pounds.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, so he hands the reins back over to Butcher, and then basically he goes off he wants to basically get his wife safe.
And his kid.
Is a good idea. Yeah, wife and kid. But then his wife, like, full on is like, come with us. We'll be a family again. And I thought for sure, I was like, he's gonna. I mean, and he does ultimately, but still, I thought for sure he's gonna turn her down then.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, well, no, when there's a god being who hates you out there, there's nowhere you can hide on the earth.
He gets pretty close to
but
leaving.
Yeah, he basically makes the
A-Train.
That's what I was about to say. When A-Train is your voice of reason.
Yeah.
You done fucked up. That's how you. But I mean, I will also say, because that's another part of this the storyline that I've been talking about. And I think this episode is the completion of that. Is A-Train has completed his redemption arc, in my mind.
No, he's got to die.
I mean, he's still gonna die. I'm just saying he is now a fit. Like before, it was like flirting with, is he really on the good guys? Is he gonna betray them and stuff? But he is fully like he's on team the boys.
Yeah. We'll talk about what he does in a minute. But
Yeah.
the question is, do you think that he's gonna die saving like Huey or something, or do you think he's just gonna die so nonchalantly, where it's just gonna be like beginning of the next episode? Yeah. Homelander shows up in some random middle of nowhere and just lasers him to death and then moves on.
I think he's gonna die saving somebody only because of the big thing that was. I mean, that like I say, it could go either way because you could also do this to counteract that. But just the big point of when he's talking with and he brings up, he's like, when I brought you to that hospital, and there was no fanfare, there was nobody there. It was just that boy. There were also 2 orderlies with him, but he only brings up the boy. But and there's just this boy who looked at me, and in that moment, I was a hero more than I've ever been with Vought. And so just that kind of line of him like finally becoming an actual hero, not a fake hero, and actually like enjoying being that. I do think that they're going to give him a hero send off. Let him have a heroic out.
Fair enough.
But yep.
So Eminem's and Mother's Milk story comes back later, but we'll leave it. We'll drop it right there. It's a lot of intersecting storylines in this episode, which doesn't help us talk about segmented story.
I think Frenchie and Kimiko though is kind of separate from majority of this.
Yeah.
So let's take care of them real quick. Butcher also coming back, got Frenchie out of jail. Pulled some CIA.
This whole story feels weird.
It feels definitely weird.
And rushed.
But basically, Butcher gets him out of prison because he wants him to help Samir finish the virus and get it where it can somehow, even though Samir has done all the tests and says there's no way to make it strong enough to kill Homelander and not be a genocidal plague, somehow Frenchie. I mean, I'm not putting down Frenchie. He has proven that he knows a lot of science stuff, but I'm just like, I don't know. I don't see how bringing him in. But anyways, that's the plan. So he sends Kimiko and Frenchie over there. We get a little bit of Kimiko's story, a little bit more.
Yep.
Where we basically find out that the Shining Light cult or whatever basically made her just basically fight people to the death.
I would love a lot more Shining Light this episode.
Yes.
They kind of, or the season, they kind of made it out to be like a big.
I thought that
we've only got one more episode left. There's no way they can spend time with everything else going on. There's no way they can spend time.
I'm wondering.
On that.
So here's this is just a different thing. I know we have one more season left, but especially with where I think things are going in the next episode and where the next season is going to be, I don't know if they could really do a Shining Light. So one thing that's been tossed around is like they've come out and confirmed multiple times now, 5 seasons. We're done after the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
They've never given. We know there's a season 2 of Gen V. We don't know if there'll be any more after that or if it's going to wrap up with the boys. But one thing I'm kind of interested in is they have hinted at they might be interested in doing like other stories in the boys universe.
Tons.
So I'm like maybe
they have the cartoon as well.
Yeah, eyeball. But what I'm like is like maybe we get a Kimiko Frenchie spinoff where they're going after the Shining Light.
I would like it. Yeah.
And I'm like, I could get behind that.
Maybe like making up for past wrongs kind of thing.
Yeah. So like I said, there's like talk of maybe there's some spinoffs, and if that's the idea they're going to run with, I could get behind that. But anyways, yeah. So we get to see that basically like C killed a lot of people, obviously. I mean, at the cult's behest, and her and Frenchie kind of have a bond over the fact that both of them. Kimiko even says like she hates herself when she looks in the mirror, and that's how Frenchie feels. And both of them are basically fucked up individuals who have done a lot of terrible stuff. And also just going into my whole Kimiko Frenchie spinoff, they're looking for redemption, which is why we need the spinoff. But anyways, they're looking for redemption and just how to live with themselves. They decide that after Samir perfects the virus, they're like, you know what, we're gonna free him because that's the right thing to do. Samir has different ideas though. He tells them virus is done. And they're like, sweet. And you even see like Frenchie gets a smile, like, all right, time to set. Like they're all in, like, we're good guys here. We're gonna set them free. And Samir's like, he doesn't know that's the plan, so he injects the virus into Kimiko in her leg. And in this scene, while I get it, like it's stuff in this scene, I was like, let's be honest here, folks. This is Kimiko. We have watched her splat up against walls. We watched her literally take shots and just keep fighting. I know there's adrenaline involved, but so we know we've seen her arm be eaten off. We've seen her, so it's like we know she can deal with pain, and we know that she can regenerate. So when French is like taking all the precautions, I was like, stop it, just cut her fucking leg off. He's like pulling out a tourniquet. I'm like, you don't need a tourniquet. She's not gonna bleed to death because she can regrow her stuff.
Yeah, grab an axe and start chopping.
You don't need to like talk her down. It's gonna be okay. She knows it's gonna be okay. She literally in the first episode of the season got her arm eaten off, and it was whatever.
She got blown in half by a bazooka.
So I'm just like, we don't. When he's like talking to her, here, hold this, focus on this. Like, shut up, Frenchie, and cut her leg off. I was just like so annoyed with him. I was like, I get you're trying to be carried and nice.
Donnell over here maxing out the decibels.
Yeah, sorry. I was just like, cut her leg off. Just get it off. Because I was scared that
I also like this wouldn't work because that virus would spread. Blood moves through the system very fast.
Very quickly.
Also, like I would prefer if they had gone a different direction with this, where it was more like a Wolverine situation where like she creates the antibodies and then they create the virus that goes like airborne, but her blood is the way to save selected superheroes. Or soups, not necessarily heroes, but soups in general.
I mean, they could still go that way. I mean, it's in her leg. They might still discover that, like, oh look, her leg is somehow fighting it. So that, I mean, they could still go that way. But that would be interesting, because I do wonder when they ultimately, and we'll get to how we get here, but when they ultimately meet up with the rest of the boys, they have the leg. Kimiko's fine. Leg grew back. But anyways, and they basically task Frenchie with basically doing the same thing as Samir, getting the virus out of the leg and just getting it strong enough to at least kill the vice president. And while Victoria, which we'll talk about in a second, but while she is definitely on the side of the bad guys, I just see it as like, I guess it's the immediate problem you can handle, I guess. Because I was like, taking her out doesn't really change anything. Like, it might cause Homelander to take a little bit longer to take over the world, but like, having her Victoria there makes it easier for Homelander to take over, but she's not necessary for him to take over. So them being like, we can kill the VP. I'm like, what? So what? Great, you kill the VP. Great.
You think the speaker's not in his pocket?
I'm just like sitting there where I'm just like, that's just like cool. All right. But anyways, that's where the Kimiko Frenchie storyline wraps up.
Let's do a little deep.
Yes,
maybe
we do need to talk about.
I mean, look, it all intersects in like one vortex at the end of this, but
real quick though, that I found something out.
I think we found the same thing out. The voice actor.
Yes.
I had no
idea.
I was like, I recognize that voice. Yes.
It's
Donnell.
Tilda
Swinton.
I was like,
it voices the octopus.
Ambrosia.
I
was just like, what?
I don't know how I didn't put that together before.
It's awesome though.
Beautiful.
It's freaking awesome.
I love me some Tilda Swinton.
I love me some Tilda Swinton, and I love that she was up for playing the love concubine octopus of the deep. Yep. Like, I would love to have been there when they approached her and be like, so how you want to roll in the boys? And be like, oh yeah, what do you want? We want you to play an octopus that fucks a man. And she's like, yeah, I'm in.
But we find out that the octopus knows about Sage.
Yeah. She's known. She can, I guess her suction cups can smell it on him or whatever.
Yeah. The deep loses his shit.
Yeah. We
kills her.
Yeah, I'm about to say. So I mean, and this is where it's
kills the
weird.
Octopus,
is earlier they're post coitus on the bed while the deep reads some of his terrible writing. But anyways, and they're just hanging out, and so when he kills her, because basically like they get in a big fight, and we see that the deep believes that him and Sage have a real relationship of some sort, and. Yeah, so he gets upset enough where he, where A-Train, I see him completing his hero arc, redemption arc. The Deep, I mean, not that he was ever a good guy, but the Deep has definitely been becoming more evil and more sadistic. Yeah. And I kind of
he kind of went through a bell curve, right?
Yeah.
He started out really bad.
Yeah.
Not like really bad, but like
but bad. I mean,
mildly bad, right?
He was gonna freaking rape freaking Starlight.
Well, I mean,
when
he
she first
technically
joined.
did. He like forced her to do something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then he like
He had
becomes
a
good,
little bit of an upswing.
and now he's gone full evil because he kills the octopus, and then he's broken by it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he's just like to Homelander, he's just like, whatever you want me to do, whoever you want me to kill.
Like, he has become 100%, like, even though Homelander has no respect for him, I think, Homelander definitely has earned a valuable yes man.
Yeah.
Because he is 100% he is there. And we see a little bit, because also, I mean, we're talking a little bit of the Voltstar, because Firecracker, the other yes man or yes woman, I do think she has some slight doubts. We got to see when they go and kill Webweaver.
Yeah.
They bring in Webweaver as the next victim of who's the spy. And it works out really well because Webweaver actually has been working with the boys. So he's admitting to it. He just doesn't realize what he's admitting to. Like, he thinks he's admitting to, I give Butcher a few tidbits of information about soup from now and then. But what he's admitting to is, like, I'm the inside man who's been ruining all your plans and ratting them out to the boys. And so he doesn't realize it. But anyways, when Homelander kills him, which is just insanely gory, when he just literally tears him in half, and it's like, well, that's one way to get rid of somebody. You do see Firecracker like falter a little bit, where she's like, whoa, maybe I might have tied my cart to the wrong horse here, folks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's too little too late. Like, that's the problem. It's like, at this point, it's like, well, you're in too deep now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just like I said, Webweaver's dead, in case anybody was wondering.
Let's do, I think we should pick up with A-Train. We'll save
Yes.
Ryan for the end.
Yeah.
Though it's not like the biggest story.
It's not the biggest thing, but we do get to see a little bit with it. But yeah.
So A-Train, it kind of starts out with him. His story starts out with him spying on stage, talking to what looks like a homeless man.
Yep.
And I'm like, you're gonna spy in your costume?
Yeah.
Like with a block away.
So
and Sage is in her costume. I'm like, this is a total trap.
I mean, well, so here's the thing: is the only thing I could think is that he's trying to be like, maybe he was there in an official capacity, like maybe he came with Sage, and so he's like, yeah, we came to do this together, and then he's just like trying to be discreetly also getting some footage of it. So that's the only reason I can think why he was.
No, because we find out that's not true later on.
Oh, okay.
So first thing, Sage's head is somehow healed. Her like outer skin.
Yeah.
I thought that couldn't heal.
Yeah, it's
from
kind of
like
weird
canon that we got before. We find out later that so Firecracker and Homelander confront Sage and are basically like, hey, did you know, like, A-Train's the leak?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I knew.
Yeah.
I've been feeding him information. So this whole thing is planned. She knows he's there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
She wants A-Train to see the.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
that still doesn't disprove that they came there together. Like, she might just know that he's spying on her and he's trying to be discreet, doing a terrible. But the thing I was going to bring up is if he didn't come with her, like we saw in the previous episode when he's talking to MM and he's in Toronto, he's just wearing like a normal street clothes. So I'm like, yeah, if he didn't come with her, why is he in his superhero outfit?
Also, like, yeah, you can't go anywhere. You're one of the 7. You're one of the most famous people on the planet.
Yeah.
You can't go anywhere in that outfit and not get mobbed by people.
Exactly.
Neither can Sage, for that matter.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she's newer to the 7. People might they really haven't seen her do much. There might not be a bunch of Sage fans yet.
She was on stage at the expo.
I know. I'm just saying they might, it's still, we haven't seen her do much, They don't know that she's been running things behind the scenes. But yeah, so A-Train basically finds out like this homeless dude is the assassin for the president. And he gets this information back to MM, who shares it with the group. But then we see, and like I said, this is also part of why I think, he is fully changed, is we see he goes to meet with, what's her face? The chick who losing her hair, the redhead chick, so they can remember.
Ashley.
Hey, he goes to meet with Ashley, and basically Ashley, just like MM, is like, let's get out of here. Let's go. And let's just leave, let's just get out of here. And A-Train literally says during it, he's just like, we can't. Like, this fight is too big and like there's no escape.
There's nowhere to run.
There's
yeah.
nowhere to run. And like I said,
Well, I mean, A-Train says that to MM later too. It's like, you think they're gonna be safe in Belize?
Yeah,
You think this isn't coming to Belize? It's the whole world. Yeah.
Exactly. So it just, to me, like I said, this scene and then a little bit later when he actually, once he's outed, which we'll get to how he gets outed, but once he's outed, he goes back to Ashley, and once again, like, to me, this is a different A-Train, because the fact that he even bothered to stop by to talk to Ashley, and be like, we need to go. Let's get you out of here. And Ashley turns him down, but it just shows A-Train is thinking about people other than himself. And he was before, especially like when you watch him in season 1, he wasn't. He was self-absorbed. He was the big shot. And now you see, I mean, he's thinking about MM. He's thinking about the rest of the boys. He's thinking about Ashley. Like, he's thinking, of course, his family. And so I'm like, yeah, no, like I said, I think A-Train has completed his hero's redemption arc. And now the last part of it is for him to die.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, that's the completion.
Yeah.
Is when he dies.
Yeah.
So anyway, A-Train provides them the information.
Mm-hmm.
The team, well, not the whole team, but
Butcher,
Starlight, Butcher,
and
Huey. Yeah. Go to check out the shooter's house.
Yes.
It's empty, but they find some Secret Service files. Basically, a whole plan to kill the president. On January 6th, so Inauguration Day.
Yep.
It's all too thick, Donnell.
I know.
We'll talk about Ryan and Antifa and stuff in a second, but they find a girl in the closet who's like, "Oh, he's trapped me, he's kidnapped me, he's killed my husband, all this stuff, blah blah blah." Attacks Huey.
Yep. Turns out C is
a shapeshifter.
And it is a shooter.
Now Donnell, it's gross.
Yeah.
Not unexpected.
No, but I'm just like I wonder, is it a Wolverine thing where like you still feel the pain of ripping your skin off?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I didn't get that vibe. But Donnell, did you put together blood all over the walls as she's ripping skin off and running away?
Yeah.
The farm, the lab, blood and handprints all over the walls. So I think this shifter is the same person who attacked the lab at the farm.
Because I thought that what happened at the farm was that the animals got hopped up on.
That's what we think.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So here's my thing, though. So this scene,
that's just
we've
my
talked
theory,
about.
Is that the shifter had something to do with what happened at the farm? Just because it was too curious that
there was like bloody handprints and
it just seemed too like the exact same situation where they're trying to get rid of a skin suit. Yeah.
And so the shifter's ability apparently.
Boy, that's a hot. Group of words, skin suit.
Yeah. If C touches somebody, C can turn into him.
Yep.
And I believe also C gets some of their knowledge.
Oh, you think so?
Because of how well C was talking to Huey at the end of this.
Yeah.
She's talking to Huey about stuff that Starlight and Huey only talked about that day. Where I'm like, unless he was like literally following them everywhere, how would she know? Like, how would she know about Huey getting, or I guess the urgent care part, but no, about Huey and the costume, because Huey and Starlight talk about her costume and he throws it out. So there's she's too, so she has to get some knowledge of the person.
They were the shifter was spying on them. So the way we'll skip the fight scene for a second. We'll come back to this fight scene. So this episode
with that fight.
This episode ends finding out that the shifter has taken over Starlight.
Yes.
And we find out that happens at the bar shortly before that night when her and Huey do the deed.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that the shifter has been following and spying on them.
I mean, yes and maybe no. I say yes, but I don't think she's been spying on them since before they found her. I think she's been following them ever since they found her or him. We don't even know.
I'm assuming this is all part of the plan. Sage's plan.
Yeah.
Sage wants A-Train to give them information about the shooter, so that way the shooter can take over Starlight and use Starlight's form to assassinate the president.
Ooh, yeah.
That's the whole plan in my imagination.
But anyways, let's circle back to that fight scene though, because we've talked about already how the issue with this season is like I've enjoyed the character storylines. I've enjoyed like characters progressing and some of the stuff and some of the twists, but we just feel like there's too much lazy writing.
Yep.
This chase scene was like the ultimate middle finger of lazy writing to me. Because we get to see this person's power in action. After she gets away, she's running down the hallway, she bumps into this elderly lady. on her way down the hall. And then she starts slopping off her skin, which is just a disgusting way to shapeshift. But okay. She starts slopping off her skin. They're watching her do this the whole time. It's not a quick process. I mean, yes, it's probably faster when you're not on the run, but it's not a quick process. They're not that far behind her.
Yeah.
As they're chasing her. She completes the transformation before she goes out the door, and we all see that she's now the lady. They saw the lady when she bumped into him.
Yeah.
So they know what this lady looks at. They also see her fully, like it's not a surprise, before she leaves the building. They all see her in that lady's skin.
Yeah.
And then she leaves the building. They come out, and she also puts on that lady's coat because she grabbed the coat from the lady. And then she walks out the door, and they exit the building maybe a maximum. I'd say probably 5 seconds, but maybe 10 seconds later. And they can't find her. I'm like, she didn't change form again. There's no way she bumped into somebody else and slopped off all her skin that quickly. So I'm like, there's no way. They know, like, it's not like a bait and switch where, like, she's a different can be a different person. Like, they saw how long it takes for her to transfer. They saw who she transferred to.
Yeah.
They saw what she's wearing. Unless she has a flying power, which if she had flying power, then why do you need to transform at all or anything? So it's like, it just was like, to me, it's like, it was so lazy of how she got away. Cause I'm like, no, just because he changed her form, everyone saw her change her form. So it's not like she did it without them knowing. They all saw her become that lady, and they were only 5 seconds behind. There's no way she got far enough away where they wouldn't know to walk out the building and look for that lady. But they just made it seem like, oh, and she's gone. I'm like, how? How's she gone? Does he have A-train speed? Didn't seem like it. Didn't seem like she could fly. Didn't seem like she had teleportation powers. Because if he had any of those powers, she wouldn't have needed to shapeshift anyway.
Yeah.
She would have just been gone. So
Fair
it's just,
enough.
that just, to me, I was like, this is just lazy. This makes no sense of how she got away. Like I said, it's this season, that's its biggest weakness. And this scene right here showed it so much to me. I'm like, this is just lazy.
So anyway, this episode all comes to hand.
Yes.
It doesn't end here, but it comes into a vortex towards the end of the boys' HQ getting attacked.
Yes.
Which we've been waiting for all season. We've been wondering, like, why doesn't Homelander just attack them?
And I guess it's because Sage was holding them back, essentially. Yeah. We get that answer. Sage was holding them back. But Homelander sends Noir and
By the way, I do love that line when he kicks Sage out and she's like, there's one person you can't beat. And I was like, who is that? At first I was like, oh, it's Ryan.
Oh, is that it?
That's what I was trying to figure out. That's how I saw it at the end. Is like,
who's the one person he can't beat?
Yeah, Ryan. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I wonder.
That's my theory.
I wonder because Homelander he has shown that he does truly love Ryan and that he does like having a son. But he also has shown so many times that, like, where Ryan can be an annoyance or where, like, when Ryan goes against him, he can get extra angry. Where I'm like, I wonder if...
Because Homelander's still a child.
Exactly. And so that's the thing is, like, a child, if you have two kids who are best friends, but they get in a fight, like, about a toy or something, like, one of those kids can end up hitting the other kid and even, like, killing another kid if it happens. So I'm just like...
I wouldn't be surprised if, like, final
could be
season...
pushed over to even
if
killing
Homelander
his own
kills
son.
Ryan...
It would fuck him up.
In a fit of rage accidentally... I would not be shocked if that happened in the next season.
Oh, man. Yeah. If, though, because, I mean, like, this all happened.
Then he really loses.
That's what I was about to say. Is like, we think Homelander's bad now. If something pushes him to kill his own son, there's no.
Yeah.
Like that. Right now, we have Homelander who wants to rule the Earth. He kills Ryan. We have Homelander who wants to exterminate the Earth. Yeah. That's the way I see it.
That would be a fitting. I would love that ending.
Where Homelander just takes out everything.
Homelander's just on a deserted planet. On just a post-apocalyptic, wiped-out planet.
Yeah. But anyway, so yes, the Deep and Noir go to take out the boys. Luckily, or not, I don't know if I say luckily, but there's only Butcher and Starlight there, which is a rare moment of where, it was because Frenchie and Kimiko were gone and Huey was, we forgot to bring it up. We'll talk about that real quick. Huey goes to see Victoria Newman, tries to talk her down, and this is where we get to see that she is fully, like, they have a little bit of a moment, but she is fully committed to...
I don't know if she's fully committed so much that she just realizes there's no way out for her
Yeah, that's it. There's no way.
She's
like,
stuck on the path.
You're in now, and there's no way out unless you can figure out how to blow up Homelander's head with your powers, but you probably can't even do that.
I think Victoria is going to hire the Sage.
Yeah. I think either she's going to hire Sage or that Sage has been like, because like we got in that scene last time where her and Victoria talk, where maybe Sage has already been planning part of this already with her. Like I said, Sage.
I never understood how Sage was just chilling in an apartment alone.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone would want her.
Yeah.
On the planet.
Yeah.
every corporation, every government. She'd be under constant like assault from kidnapping.
Yeah.
To like do their bidding and like figure out the stock market or whatever. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't know how she's just chilling in an apartment full of books.
Some czar in the Middle East or something would just be like, or I guess that's Russia, the czar. But some warlord or super rich oil tycoon or something would be like, make me immortal. Do it or I'm gonna torture you forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also with her being the smartest woman in the world, I just see her always outsmarting.
Well,
them and getting them. Like,
and that's a great story. I'd watch that spinoff.
Yeah.
But no, everybody would want a piece of sage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. But anyways, back to the, like I said, we get a rare moment where it's literally Butcher and Starlight. Just those two kind of working together. And
they have a couple of moments in this episode.
Yeah,
for sure.
And Noir show up and we get a good fight. One thing from this fight that I took note of is I'm like, so last episode we had Firecracker discover Starlight, in the mansion, and Starlight tries to use her powers and they don't work. And I'm like, after watching this fight where she beats up the Deep, I'm like, yeah, I think she still could have taken Firecracker even without her light powers. I'm like, she
did beat Firecracker almost to death with her fist.
But she was using her light powers while doing it the first time.
Was she using her light powers?
She was using them, and then she can't. Ever since then, she hasn't been able to use them. But I'm like, she has enough super strength alone. We're like, yeah, she can still beat the crap out of Firecracker. I was like, if the boys with no, I guess they had Kimiko, but I was like, if the boys with no soup other than Kimiko with them can beat Firecracker and her weird henchman, Starlight can handle her without her.
I found it odd that she defeated the Deep so thoroughly and easily.
Well, yes and no. I don't think she really. I feel like they were fighting more even until A-Train showed up.
Gotcha.
Like I don't. Yeah. I think long term, especially because Butcher was going to lose to Noir. Like
absolutely,
like 100%. And so
unless Joe came to save the day. Yeah.
I was gonna say I think that fight, if it played out with just those four participants, I think that the boys lose because Butcher loses to Noir, and because Starlight is either, like I said, I could believe Starlight is either on the same level as the Deep. I could also see her as slightly below the Deep, and I could also see her as slightly above the Deep. Like I don't know where she falls in that range, but wherever she falls, it's not a big enough gap where their fight would end before Noir killed Butcher, and so, but once Noir killed Butcher, the 2v1 Starlight's toast. Like, Starlight might be able to beat the Deep. I don't know. I don't know where power-wise where she falls in that range. If she's stronger, just as strong, or weaker. But wherever it is, no matter what, Noir and the Deep destroy Starlight. So that we get to see this new Noir. Like I said, we knew he could fly, but obviously he got the super strength. Also, and he also was pretty damn invulnerable because he was taking freaking machine gun rounds to the chest and just,
not machine gun, minigun.
Yeah, minigun rounds to the chest. So don't know where this guy came. He almost seems like he might even be more durable than the original Noir. A little bit.
I feel like they're making him out to be as strong as Homelander.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just haven't shown him use like laser vision or anything, right? Because that's what Black Noir is supposed to be.
Yeah, the original or the comic Black Noir is a clone of Homelander.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's what this guy is, or maybe they're just alluding to that a little bit. But yeah, the fight's going on. But like I said, this is where get to see once again A-Train coming through. A-Train shows up and joins the fight. I do like the Deep's just total feeling betrayed. He's like, but me and you, we're homeboys. It's like, you have vastly misjudged our relationship.
bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
And MM also comes back and they duke it out, and ultimately, because it's 4v2 now, they end up winning. But now the boys are on the lam. They have no more base. They had an abandoned ship.
As it should be.
Yeah. The fact that they had like a standing residence is bizarre. But then we also get to see that. Also, that's the other thing we get to see is, so like I said, the information finally gets back to Homelander that that the A-Train is the spy,
and he's heartbroken. How could this happen? I've been treating this man like trash.
Yeah,
but for 4 seasons.
The thing that I think is
and he's betrayed
interesting though is it does show in his own fucked up Homelander way.
Yeah,
he did care about A-Train on a level because I feel like if the Deep turned out to be the traitor, he'd be like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like he'd be like,
Expected.
I'm gonna kill him, but whatever,
Yeah.
and stuff. Where like he was hurt. He was hurt that the deep. It's just like Noir.
Not as much as Black Noir.
Yeah,
The original
Black
Noir.
Noir. They're about to say this. Like we saw, he was truly hurt when he found out. Not that Noir had betrayed him, but he had basically kept a secret from him. So yeah, it does so. You can see the different way he views people in the Seven. Where like the Deep betrays him. I don't give a rat's ass. I'm just gonna kill him. A-Train betrays him. He's a little hurt, and then Noir keeps a secret from him. He's really hurt. So yeah, it's interesting just to see Homelander's care level, I guess.
Yeah.
But then to wrap things up, we were alluded to it at the bar. Starlight has a run-in with a strange lady. Turns out the lady is the shapeshifter, and that she knocks out Starlight and takes over, and basically is hooking up with Huey, and also getting some information out of the safe. That's the other reason, is that she knows the code to the safe.
Yeah.
So I feel like her power.
That's a good point.
But yeah, so getting some. We don't know what.
This is like a master spy, though. I don't know. It'll be
Yeah.
interesting. I can go with your idea as well, but I think that
and then,
competing theories. We'll see how that pan out. Yeah.
And I guess this isn't the final scene, but we get to see we get to see Starlight captured.
Yeah.
And she's chained up. The only reason I bring it up is at the end of that scene, right before we cut out, there's a sound of a door creaking open. And I'm just like, who's that? I wonder who's coming in.
Oh, I'm assuming it's the shifter.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is another storyline that's going on intermixed with this. This is a Christmas episode, we should mention. Ryan is filming a Christmas special with some Muppet versions of the Seven, and they're just doing some super far right Antifa.
If you see
rat on your neighbor,
yeah,
songs and stuff, and he's very uncomfortable for it. I do have a question, Donnell.
Mm-hmm.
As a 42-year-old man, what does 10-1 mean?
I had to look that up too. So 10-1, it's not some young kid slang. It's actually Hollywood slang. Is you say when you're on the set, I looked it up, you say 10-1, or you can say 10-2. Both of them mean you need to use the restroom. And I was looking it up. I couldn't find
10 minutes to go number one.
It might be 10. It might be that. That's the thing is I couldn't figure out why. Like in the article I found talking about it, I couldn't find out what the 10 meant. But they basically explained like, it's basically you just let people know. And that maybe you're right with the 10 minutes. Like, hey, I'm gonna need 10-1. I'm going 10 minutes to use the restroom, sort of thing. But yeah. It's not because at first I was like, is this some new kid slang?
I was absolutely like,
know.
Am I so out of date
so
that
I
I don't know the slang?
I had to look it up, and it was like, oh nope, it's not. It's Hollywood jargon.
Fair enough. That makes sense. Makes sense.
And he's on the
anyway, he takes a break because he's kind of uncomfortable with the songs and stuff that are going on. Yep. There's a scene where he's going to look under the Christmas tree, and he sees a present from Butcher.
I don't know how that got in there.
Yeah. He just mailed it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, are you not going to deliver mail to Ryan?
True. Like his dad would screen it though. I don't know.
And it was a picture of his mom and the dog, but was that supposed to be?
It was Butcher.
And that didn't look like Butcher in the picture.
It was.
Maybe it was just too young.
I don't know.
You know what's funny though is I did see a meme that showed there's an episode of Xena Warrior Princess where it has the actor who plays Butcher and the actor who plays Homelander. Very young.
Nice.
Both of them, and they're enemies.
That's awesome.
I'm like, yes, that's good stuff.
Awesome.
I mean, it's weird looking when you look at it. You're like, these are young people. They barely look like the same humans.
A young Carl Urban is a completely different human being than current Carl Urban. That
old
man.
Carl Urban versus young, in my opinion, though. Anyway, it circles back around. He's live.
Yes.
Doing this Christmas special. They're singing the anti-Antifa song.
Did you notice that before, during the practice, A-Train was in the scene, but after the practice and after A-Train was revealed to be
I did not notice that.
No, there was no A-Train. It was switched with Homelander and the Deep. And
did you watch this while you were driving over? You're not looking at your notes or anything, Donnell. Did you memorize this episode? You're freaking me out.
Episode 3 times just because.
Jesus.
Because I've just had kind of spare time on Fridays.
I've got plenty of shows for you to watch. By the way, Donnell, have you seen Amadeus? The clock is ticking. I'm not doing another Oscars episode if you haven't seen Amadeus by then.
Okay.
My foot is down.
Your foot is down. The foot is down.
Amadeus, you have to see it. It's very upsetting to me that you still haven't. We've been talking about it for 2 months.
I will watch it.
Okay.
I will watch it.
Anyway, Brian just stops the show midstream, talks to the camera. He's like, I just can't.
Yeah.
do this. He was about to say something very profound and then walks away.
I was like, what was he gonna say? But yeah, basically,
we'll definitely be dealing with fallout of that from that next episode.
Because Homelander's watching it too, so he knows it happened. And we get to see Butcher, where it's his meeting up with Joe after them being separated for the fight, and basically, he's explaining why. He's like, this is why I still believe in Ryan. Is the kid still, like I said, he's in a messed up situation, but he still sees the kid still has a good heart, and if he can save that, he maybe can save that piece of his wife.
He's not lost yet.
Yeah. Good episode.
I thought this was a great episode.
I thought liked a lot of it.
Bringing stuff together. I really don't get the whole shining light thing.
No.
Don't care anything about. I feel like the Frenchie storyline has been just completely unnecessary and not that great. Unless maybe they're gonna do something with it in the next episode, but I doubt it. But yeah, fantastic episode. I can't wait for the
I'm
for the
very
season
intrigued
finale.
by next week's episode because I'm like, this is gonna. I feel like we're ramping up to something.
It's gonna be the attempted assassination or the assassination of the president.
I feel like it might be the assassination. I think the attempt's going through.
Fair enough.
And I like your idea of Starlight being the one to do it.
Yeah,
like that, and I'm really interested to see because it's like one thing that a very rare moment where Homelander doesn't murder Sage and actually lets her walk.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how that plays out because, like I said, Sage.
Well, also keep in mind that Sage left behind her plan journal.
Yeah.
In the conference room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with her. I think she's going to be continuing on to the next season, obviously. Unless he ends up dying somehow in this final episode. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff this episode. Yeah.
As always, you can find us on our website, watchinitpod.com. There you can find links to our social media and to email us, watchinitpodcast@gmail.com. Donnell, what else should they do?
Well, Robert is abandoning me after we finish The Boys.
Yeah, taking a vacation.
And so I'm gonna be doing something. I don't know what. I need to work on getting a guest host up in here, but don't know what I'm gonna cover. So if you have any ideas, if there's a movie,
how are you not covering Snowpiercer? I guess we'll just do a double episode. Yeah,
or something. Because if I have a guest, I guess I could bring a guest and be like, watch Snowpiercer. But then I'm gonna be like, have you watched the other 3 seasons of Snowpiercer? I'm gonna need you because it's 2 weeks away. In 2 weeks, I'm gonna need you to watch 3 seasons of Snowpiercer. And if I was talking to you.
Month.
Yeah, even then, a month of telling someone who's not invested in this, go watch 3 seasons of this show. That's a lot. That's a lot to put on someone. I will reach out to a few people and see maybe they've already watched Snowpiercer. Maybe I'll get lucky with Zoe or something. But yeah, anyways, if you have any ideas besides Snowpiercer of something for me to cover, let me know and give us any rated reviews, 5 stars. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.